I've seen a ton of people reposting a study on LinkedIn from MIT, and I think they stopped reading after the first sentence of the executive summary, which says 95% of organizations doing or implementing AI are getting zero return. Now, if you read the next paragraph, it says 5% of companies that are integrating AI pilots are extracting millions in value, which is great. It does say the vast majority remains stuck with no measurable profit and loss attributed to their projects. So it's not saying those projects aren't successful, it's just saying they can't attribute profit and loss to them, which is a bit of a weird one. If you carry on, it says these tools that are being implemented are primarily resulting in enhanced individual productivity, not P&L performance. So it's saying of the 95 that are failed, if you read the headlines, a lot of them are resulting in individual productivity improvements, which theoretically should increase P&L. I've always been a strong believer that replacing people's time with AI and speeding up their time to produce whatever they're producing will result in them focusing on more high value things. And it's that focus on the high value activities that will increase P&L, not the actual reduction of the time. So if you've got a lawyer that's going to write a document in 30 minutes instead of a full day, that lawyer is going to have 7.5 hours to do something that will reduce risk or whatever it is that his day job is inside the company. If you go through the rest of the report, there's another few interesting points to point out in there as well. They're saying that people who engage an external partner, 66% of those are successful. The ones that are doing it themselves, only 33%. So you're twice as likely, if you've got an external partner coming in, and obviously I'm fairly biased when I'm talking about this, of seeing success in your project. The other things that they noticed is deep customization is key to successful projects. So generic off-the-shelf things, Microsoft Copilot, Google's Gemini, just using those aren't really measurable. But as soon as you do deep integration, deep customization, that's when they're seeing results. The other thing is central AI labs, tiger teams, whatever you want to call them, not seeing results. Initiatives involving frontline staff are. There's a few metrics in there from some of the survey respondents that they called out. A few of these are 30% decrease in external creative content and content spend. So I don't know what the spend was, but 30% decrease in getting that content created is huge. A $1 million annual reduction in outsourced risk for a financial services company. So they were outsourcing like risk reports to consultants, doing a lot of that internally. 40% faster lead qualification time and 10% higher customer retention rate. So these are significant metrics that are really going to improve P&L for these companies. And I'm assuming these ones are for the 5% where they've actually been able to measure it, which brings me back to a few points that we keep seeing. And that is organizational change is part of this. And I've mentioned this before, when people are doing cloud migrations, they spend a lot of time doing organizational change and project management. AI, we're kind of just throwing it out there really quickly and not considering that. And then measuring this as well. A lot of companies don't have good measurement at the start. So once the AI is implemented, they're not able to measure the success of it. Setting up that is another key part of this so that we can actually show what the AI is doing. And Aviato are trying to change a lot of our pricing. So if you don't see the results that you want, we're not going to get paid, or we're not going to get paid all of the amount. So we're doing these holdbacks, and we're trying to do this across all of our projects, where if you get the success you want, if you get that 10% higher customer retention or 40% faster lead qualification, we will then get that last 5 or 10% of the project. And maybe we'll even do it so that if you've got 20% customer retention, we'll get paid more, but you obviously need to quantify that 10% is worth $1 million and you'll give us $100,000 or something like that. So these real partnership contracts is where Aviato is heading. If you're interested in discussing this kind of stuff, I'd love to chat. Procurement teams get a bit bamboozled by it, but I think it really drives a true partnership between my organization and your organization. Thank you.